Good afternoon, folks. This is Robert Chappell, Executive Editor of Madison365 with your daily update for Tuesday, November 2nd. Sorry, it's Tuesday, November 2nd today. It is an election day, not here in Wisconsin. There is a few mayoral races around the country, and the governorship of Virginia is up for grabs today, so we'll keep a tab on that tonight. The daily update today is brought to you by Forward Theater Company, presenting The Amateurs by Jordan Harrison. This time-traveling comedy features a troupe of 14th century actors that perform Bible stories while outrunning the Black Plague. Inventive and hilarious, The Amateurs considers the purpose of art in dark times. It runs November 4th through the 21st. Tickets available now at forwardtheater.com, and there is a streaming option available if you'd prefer not to be in the theater. Funny story about that show. This is not part of the ad, but they were actually in final preparations to mount this production last year in March. Right? It's a play about actors performing during a pandemic, and just as they were about to perform it, the pandemic shut it down, which I find just dramatic irony at the very highest level. So we'll be checking that out. We'll be probably sending a reviewer. So give it a shot at forwardtheater.com. Now, the COVID data today was delayed. It literally just came out. It's normally out at 2:00, but it just so that's why I was waiting to come on here. It wasn't because I was watching the Champions League matches. No, I was waiting for the data. The data looks not as good today. We'll talk through the data, and then we'll talk about vaccination news, the big vaccination news today. Our 7-day average of new confirmed cases has gone up again for the fourth consecutive day, which I don't love, 1,904. That's only 30 more than it was yesterday. Okay, so it's not like a steep increase, right? It's not earlier this fall, it was going up by like 100 a day, right? Today it went up by 30, but it's gone up by 30 each of the last like 3 or 4 days. So that's what I don't love. We're showing 2,722 new confirmed cases just today. The percentage of positive tests today is 8.0, which is very high. Remember yesterday I said it was 8.3%, but I speculated that there was a lot of negative tests that had not yet been processed, and that would probably be revised downward. It was revised downward, but not by much. It was 8.2%. I would anticipate that will continue to be revised down, especially with the data delay today. There was probably, I don't know what was wrong exactly, but there's probably a lot of unprocessed negative tests. So 8.0% still too high. Even if that gets revised down to 7.5%, that's too high, right? We need to see that continue to go down toward 3%, which we saw a steady downward trend over the course of October from almost 9 all the way down to like 7.0. And now it's back up to 8. So I don't love that either. 11 deaths reported on average per day in the past 7 days. That's coming down. 11 deaths on average is much lower than it was even last week. It was as high as 17. That includes 21 new confirmed deaths today. Again, those are deaths that are confirmed today, not that happened today. Right? These death numbers reflect the cases from a month or two ago. Right? So, 11 is still too high. I'd rather see that much lower, but it is on its way down. Hospitalizations are again on the rise slowly. Right? We saw this before. We saw this that they were going up very slowly for a month or two, and then came down very, very quickly, and are now going up again slightly. 929 people currently hospitalized. That is 19 more than yesterday. Also 19 more than a week ago. A week ago is when we saw that really steep decline. Okay. So again, I don't love that coming up. I'd rather that kind of level off and continue to go down. 277 patients currently ICU. That's 4 more than yesterday. So we're still at about a third of the hospitalized population is in ICU. I would I don't love that that's going up even slowly. Okay. Now, let's talk about vaccine news. This is what will ideally stop these numbers in their tracks, we hope. That the Center for, well, we know that on Friday, the FDA approved, or I shouldn't say approved, they gave emergency authorization for the a lower dose of the Pfizer vaccine to be given to children under the age of 12, age 5 to 11. That was the first step. The next step is CDC advisors, their vaccine group, to recommend the actual deployment of those vaccines. And today, just about an hour ago, in fact, that group also voted unanimously, 14-0, to recommend that the emergency use authorized vaccines be deployed. Now, the last step before they can actually roll out is the director of the CDC has the sole discretion to say yes or no. So Dr. Christina Walensky will take that 14-0 vote under advisement, right? It's an advisory vote. Like I can't imagine a scenario where she would take 14-0 vote and do something other than that, So I would imagine that it's kind of a process thing at this point, kind of a rubber stamp at this point, that she will take that advice from that council and put it into effect, and we'll start to see those vaccines roll out in the next few days. Now, I understand that there are some places, some clinics and stuff that are actually booking appointments for children. So if you go, if you can, I can't give any advice or recommendation because I haven't actually done this or tried it yet. But you might try going, go to Walgreens or CVS or Health Mart or whatever, and make an appointment for your kid. See what happens. Worth a try, because if you make an appointment for your kid a week from now, 2 weeks from now, there's a reasonable chance that this will be underway, right? That they will start to have vaccines deployed. Also, I would check with your school district. I know many school districts actually had vaccine clinics for the older kids, right? For kids 12 and older to get vaccinated right there at school. Most of them required a parent's permission or even a parent's presence, but that's a pretty efficient way to get your kids vaccinated. So my intention is to call my school district, because I don't have any kids between, that are more than 12 who are not already adults. But I do have 2 younger kids, so I'm going to call my school district and ask, so you're going to give vaccines at school or not? So the other part of it is there are going to continue to be access issues, right? Because if you have to take a kid to an appointment, you got to have time off of work. And there's a lot of people who just can't take that time off of work. So if you are able to get your kids vaccinated and it's just inconvenient for you, I would recommend you do it, not only for your kids, but for all those other kids in their class whose parents might not have such an easy time getting the vaccine done, right? I would also recommend you get your booster if you can. I got mine yesterday. I've been kind of sluggish all day, but I feel fine, other than I needed an extra nap this afternoon. It was fine. Okay, that's the COVID situation. Again, numbers are slightly up, and kids' vaccines are coming. Those are the 2 headlines today. We're gonna take a short pause. We're gonna hear from our sponsor, Madison College, and we'll have some more, some really good news for you that you'd be interested in right after the break. Don't go away. We'll be right back right after this.
Apply yourself. At Madison College, we encourage you to be your truest self. You're a trendsetter. Whether it's the clothes you're wearing, the music you're listening to, or the new game you're playing, you're into it first. Friends and family seek your advice because you're a natural-born leader. For you, life is all about taking things to the next level. And at Madison College, we can't wait to see what you do. Apply yourself today.
All right, today is the day 3 of the 2nd annual Asian American Most Influential list. We've got several nonprofit leaders today. We've got an attorney, former prosecutor, nonprofit entrepreneur, as well as a politician down in the lower right. So a lot more people to get to know and to learn about. So give that a read. It's on Madison365.org right now. Why is my slides not doing this? I don't know. Sorry. David O'Connor is a good friend of Madison365. He is the American Indian Education Consultant at the Department of Public Instruction, and he was honored last month by the National Indian Education Association at their 52nd annual convention with the Educator of the Year award. This is 1 year after he earned the same honor at the Wisconsin Indian Education Association. So he's doing big things. He helps Indigenous students get a proper education. He helps schools educate Indigenous students, and also helps schools educate non-Indigenous students about Indigenous culture, as is required by law. So very congratulations to David. I had a nice chat with him yesterday. So that story, again, is on Madison365.org. And finally, yesterday, the committee that oversees the state capitol grounds and the executive residence unanimously approved the erection of a statue honoring Val Phillips. I honestly thought this was a Photoshop thing, but these guys actually put a cardboard cutout of Val Phillips up, which I think is fantastic. They put it up here for a press conference yesterday after that vote. Val Phillips, you may be aware, is the first person of color elected to statewide office. She was elected Secretary of State in 1978. She was acting governor for a day until the governor and lieutenant governor noticed and came back. And the Secretary of State of Wisconsin becomes acting governor when both the governor and lieutenant governor leave the state. And they left her in charge for 1 day and then came running back when they realized they'd left a black woman in charge. She was the first black woman to graduate from the UW Law School. She was the first black woman judge in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee County. She was the first I think she was the first woman and first person of color to serve as an alder in the Milwaukee City Council, rather. So a lot of firsts for Val Phillips, and she is now the first person of color to be honored by a statue on the Capitol grounds. Or she will be when this happens over the course of the next year. They're doing a little fundraising still to commission the work and get it done and get it created and get it installed. And they're also trying to endow a education fund in the name of Val Phillips. So big news there for the state capitol and for Val Phillips. This is great. Sherry has the comment here. I mentioned, try going to Walgreens, and Sherry says she tried that and it didn't work. So maybe don't listen to me. Try calling a pediatrician until they can't schedule anything yet, but that they will reach out, try to register in Walgreens. Hasn't been allowed to. So I would imagine, because the date of birth didn't fit the parameters, I understand. So I would imagine that those parameters will change once this authorization gets done. So I guess we will have to wait until they are beginning to be deployed. Then we can make our appointments at Walgreens or whatever. But I would still say, for my purposes, I'm still going to turn to the school district and hope that they are able to provide it in a timely fashion. All right, that's all I have for you today. I appreciate your attention. We will be back tomorrow with another update. Hopefully the data will be done on time tomorrow. And we'll have the podcast in the morning. It's only 10 minutes, wherever you get your podcasts. Go to It's Only 10 Minutes to give that a listen. And until then, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and we will talk to you soon.
This is 365 Media.